The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of November 16th, 2020. My name is Taylor Cooper. This is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What's up, Reevy?
How's it going?
CJ's here. What's up, CJ?
How's it going, guys?
Oh, man, the whole team is back at it. We're all here.
It looks like it's time to invest in Wendy's, since I see you're drinking a Wendy's cup, and you're back close to that Thorndale Wendy's.
I'm mixing it up. Last week it was Burger King. This week it's Wendy's. I don't eat fast food every night, but it just happens to be every Tuesday when I record the show.
Oh, so it's not worth investing in Wendy's?
I mean, you can. They make delicious food. They do. I get the same thing every time I go, but they have some new things that look pretty delicious. I just haven't ventured into trying the new shit.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know, last time Taylor lived in Thorndale, Wendy's was every day.
Every day. That, and if it wasn't that, it was Happy Days Diner, which I also had today. Fun fact. I went to my two favorite places in Thorndale today.
Wendy's is just sad.
Wendy's is kind of sad. I mean, I wish that the Burger King was closer.
There's a sad vibe to Wendy's. There's kind of the similar thing going on with Burger King. Burger King is kind of like Burger King used to be cool. And now Burger King's kind of sad because it's fallen off. But Wendy's always seemed a little creepy and sad.
Yeah.
McDonald's is just, for some reason, they're just cool.
Yeah, and it's just like
they're never not cool.
It doesn't depreciate. Yeah, you're right. It's just like it's always McDonald's. It's always a good idea.
I haven't eaten at McDonald's in a long time, but every time I drive by one, I just get good vibes.
It's good vibe. It's good.
Just
nothing but good vibes.
It's like a piece of Americana. I'm just glad it's there.
Right. Every McDonald's is a landmark.
Every McDonald's is a reminder that I'm American and that this is the greatest time to be alive. Corona what? Never heard of it. McDonald's going strong. Oh, yeah, another lockdown. We probably won't be able to go into a McDonald's in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's kind of looking that way.
I went into a McDonald's to poop last week.
Oh, wow. I bet that was great.
That counts.
Yeah, that does. It counts. What happens in the lockdown when nobody can go in anywhere and poop? That's a big problem.
Yeah.
Depends. Sales through the roof.
I thought you were going to say it depends, but you're saying depends diapers. I get you.
Lame. I'm a big public restroom guy. People get weirded out by that stuff. I'm totally cool with it.
You're out on the road a lot during the day, so that totally makes sense. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm cool with public restrooms. However, I do. There are certain situations that I cannot abide by. I will shit outside if a bathroom is just that bad. I've done it. I will do it again. I swear to God. Some of those like rest stop bathrooms are just like too much. You know what I'm saying? And if all they've got is porta potties, chances are I'm pooping in a bush if I have to.
If anybody's wondering, this is on our rundown sheet. Like this week, it was talk shit. And then what do we got up next? What else is there to talk about?
Next,
what else is in the news?
I'll tell you, we're sponsored by Eunomia CBD. Go to eunomiacbd.com. Use promo code MBN. Get 20% off, free shipping and free shit. Also, please make sure, go check out the website, mbnnetwork.com. It's got everything you possibly want from this podcast network on there. It's got a link to the merch store. It's got a link to the Patreon. It's got a link to Eunomia. It's got a link to all the different shows on the network. And each show page has a playlist dedicated to that show. So, for example, if you want to listen to every episode of Might Be Sports ever made, there is a playlist on the page for that. It's never been easier for you to binge your favorite shows on the network. The website is the best place to do that. So, mbnnetwork.com. Sign up for Patreon. Patreon.com/mbnnetwork. $5 a month gets you in. You get in and entered into our monthly giveaway. You get at least one exclusive episode a week, and we generally have a good time over there. Yeah, that's our plug spiel. As far as sports news go, as we're sitting here recording, when this episode comes out on Wednesday, That's the beginning of the NBA draft, correct?
That is correct.
How excited are
Always
you?
on a Thursday usually, but this time on a Wednesday. I'm guessing to not have a conflict with the Thursday night football.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say, I guess maybe because of the shortened off season. Do you think that might have anything to do with it too, or no?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's normally in June, so they obviously couldn't do that. June or July, but yeah, I would think June, like right after the NBA Finals for the most part. I think off the top of my head, I think usually it's around mid-June. Obviously, they can't do that. Right. They were, it feels like they were just playing like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's it's like we were talking about last week with the Masters kind of sneaking up on you. This is like the NBA draft kind of sneaking up on you. It's not a whole lot of talk leading up to it that you would normally find with the NFL being over, and whenever the NFL is going on, that's going to lead the news. So there wasn't a whole lot of talk about this, not a whole lot of hype. To be honest, I don't know too much about the guys coming out because I love college basketball, but I get most of my information on like the big prospects and everything during the tournament.
Right.
And there wasn't a tournament.
There wasn't one. Right.
So I know LaMelo Ball, that's all the talk. I'm going to have to do some big research tomorrow because, and to be honest, that's the day of is usually a big deal for me for the NBA draft. Every year I have an NBA draft party, not this year, but man, we were doing it over 20 years. Wow. So we used to say like we're the only people in, suburban outside, Philadelphia that has an NBA draft party every year. And most of those years were pretty bad years for the Sixers. But that's why the draft, that's why we had a party. The draft was the high point of the season for the Sixers, and especially the last 10 years or so, it seems, when they've been tanking. But so LaMelo Ball looks like he's going to probably be the number one guy. Obviously, Lonzo's brother. He played overseas. I believe he played in Australia, and I don't remember where else, but I think he last played in Australia. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I would have to look and see who else is on the board, talent-wise. I don't know if you want to get involved with a Ball. It just seems like a lot. And he's got a lot of talent, but he hasn't faced a whole lot of NBA-level talent. So he didn't go through the college route. So I think you're taking kind of a risk with that guy, but he's got all the talent in the world. And then, with all the trades, the potential trades going on, we'll see what happens. Harden hasn't been dealt yet, correct?
Correct.
So he's looking. I had heard that the Sixers were interested in him, or he was interested in the Sixers, but it seems like he's just adding a team in there just to kind of play against the Nets where he really wants to go.
So he turned down a 2-year deal worth over $50 million a year, which would have made him the first player ever to receive a contract like that in the NBA. He turned that down, and according to sources, they're saying that the Nets or the Sixers, but he really wants to go to the Nets to be with Durant. Which, let me just say, all right, I want James Harden on the Sixers. I don't know what the Sixers would be able to give away to get James Harden. I've heard on the radio a lot of people talking about getting rid of Ben Simmons for James Harden. I don't like that, but I get it.
I think that's where it would start. It would have to start there.
Honestly,
I don't know where they would be matching salaries, but
for me personally, and I don't know if I'm sure this doesn't make sense basketball wise. I'm sure that this doesn't make sense. Whatever. But for me personally, if I had to choose between trading Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid, I'm trading Joel Embiid 8 times out of 10. The reason why is very simple. One, you look at Ben Simmons, and we've been complaining about it for years, that his jump shot, he doesn't have a jump shot. He doesn't shoot the ball. Otherwise, he's a great player. The only thing is that he's not the greatest for his position because he doesn't shoot the ball. He doesn't have a jumper. But and that's teachable. Whether it's teachable, we got a new coach in the system. Hopefully it works out that way. As far as Joel Embiid goes, everybody's biggest complaint with Joel Embiid is his physicality, his ability to maintain his momentum going into the postseason, taking the game seriously, conditioning. Yeah, I mean, that's something that you can't be taught, in my opinion. Obviously, you can go out there and get better condition, but you got to want to do that. And year after year, it's like you get the vibe from Joel Embiid that he wants to do that, but then every year it's the same thing. He comes out there, he looks sluggish, plays a couple games, takes a game off, plays a couple games, takes a game off, then he gets hurt, misses a week or two, comes back, sluggish. Oh, we need to rest him. And it's the same thing over and over again. I get that it's the same thing over and over again for Ben Simmons, but you and I, we've seen the same Instagram videos. He's working on his jump shot. Whenever he wants to put it in there, we know it exists. And when it looks nice, it looks good. So for me, I feel like there's more of an upside with Ben Simmons than there is Joel Embiid. However, I also know that we don't have a better number. We don't have a better center on our team than Joel Embiid. And, how do you replace that? So I don't know. And I don't know how many, first-round picks that the Sixers organization has moving forward. I don't know how their draft, picks that they could wager away looks like. I don't know what that picture is. I don't know what Brooklyn's is either, but I just know as a Sixers fan that if James Harden goes to the Nets and the Nets maintain – they keep KD, obviously. They keep Kyrie, obviously. If it's those three guys in Brooklyn, who cares what the Sixers have anyway? Who really cares? I don't see anybody beating Brooklyn if that's what they've got. That's just me.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And, I mean, as far as the Sixers draft picks, it's not like it was.
Right.
They're now just – with everybody else late in the draft when it's a total crapshoot and there's just no value when the pick gets past basically 15. Once it's past 15, you're looking at value that there's really no big difference between that and a second-round pick. And in a lot of cases, the second-round pick is a little bit more valuable because you can kind of stockpile those. You see who the salary is totally different structurally, and you have way more options with that. You can get tied into guys when you draft them, 15, 16, 17 overall, and just hang on to them for years and they never become anything. Right. Happens all the time. And of course, there's a ton of guys that, buck that trend, and there's, perennial all-stars that get picked in that range, but it's just, like I said, total crapshoot. It's just luck of the draw, just the way it works. So whatever the Sixers throw in draft-wise, it wouldn't add up to much. So I think it would be, and you know what? GMs in the NBA know what they're doing. They would rather have Ben Simmons over Joel Embiid.
Right.
If we know it, they know it.
Right. Oh, so, yeah, definitely.
Those are two big trade pieces.
Right.
And unfortunately, it comes down to, it just stinks that basically what it's going to come down to is the whole process is going to come down to the whims of one player. If they do end up making that trade, it comes down to, now this is, it feels like the team wouldn't be under control of, Sixers management or, Joel Embiid or the coach, certainly not the fans. It would be James Harden. It would be his team. He'd be in control.
Absolutely.
For all intents and purposes, he's now the man. And it just seems a little uncomfortable with, just bringing in a guy, never been a Philly guy. You're just trading for this guy and would it be for 2 years? I don't know how that works. So for 2 years, he's here and then presumably just leaves, and then you have to start all over from scratch.
Yeah, I can't.
And that's a thing. That's a consideration. If you were to trade Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons, do you trade, Simmons knowing that Embiid might be more loyal? So there's a lot to consider there, but ultimately it just feels gross because this is what the NBA has become, and there's no loyalty, and it's never going to happen because it's one of those things. It's like coronavirus shutdown rules. Once you get that ball rolling, it just never seems to roll back.
Right.
They're never going to roll back player. What's the word? Their control. Right now, the players just have all the control in the NBA.
Yeah, because he still has time on his deal. Harden does. He still has time on his deal. He's requesting out. He wants out. He's requesting a trade. So, like, in all seriousness,
it's only 2 or 3 years.
They don't even have to trade him. They don't have to do anything.
Right.
Which is honestly what I think is going to happen. I don't think he's going to play anyway. I don't think he's getting traded before the season starts. I'll put it that way. Maybe sometime before trade deadline, maybe, but I don't know. They don't have to. But I don't know how it works. Does he have to play? Like I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I don't like it. I've never liked it. I think it's just too much power with the players. And
talk about a slap in the face to Westbrook, though. He wants to go back over to Kyrie or not Kyrie, KD. That's fucked up, man. But hey, like we've been talking about Westbrook for years. Like it doesn't seem like he's the most cohesive player to be around in the locker room, and I don't know how that locker room atmosphere goes. I know that Chris Paul is out of Houston, obviously, and now he just got traded again. He's going to Phoenix. I don't know, man. I feel like the East is becoming more and more appealing because multiple reasons. Because the Lakers are such a powerhouse. The West is just you got to have a workhorse of a team to succeed in the West. That hasn't been a secret for a long time because of how good it's been. The East is no slouch either anymore, and it has been for a couple years ever since LeBron went out west, certainly. But it's just for now, it looks like KD's kind of building a real championship contender over there in Brooklyn, especially if they're somehow able to manage getting him over there. That's wild.
Yeah, it just seems like to me the NBA needs like its Moneyball moment right now, where it doesn't seem like anybody knows how to build a real team, where that's what college basketball is all about. And it's because these NBA players, they seem like they're just a bunch of individuals. And we've talked about that a lot before. It's just, that's the way the game is shifted. Don't take my word for it. I bet if you ask any NBA expert out there, they would tell you that it's a game of individuals. The coaches have very little power. And really, for Harden and Westbrook to think that was going to work, basically two shoot first point guards for the most part, and just put them together, that's like an NBA 2K strategy. That's like, fantasy basketball stuff.
Right.
It doesn't make sense for a team. I've said for years, and I half believe it, that there's a reason why when you have, the Olympics and, world championships and all that, that lately the U.S. teams have played like garbage. It's because they're playing actual teams. And you look at the names on some of these teams from Greece and all that, and there might be one decent, maybe not even an all-star NBA level player, a guy that's actually in the NBA. And then he's surrounded by, 10 other guys that are not in the NBA. And somehow they win these games against NBA all-stars. Now, on paper, that shouldn't happen. But it does happen. We expect it to happen now. But we don't change the way we run NBA teams. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, nobody's looking at this. If it happened in any other sport, if that happened in baseball or football or even like hockey or any of that, what do I know about hockey? Maybe it does. Nobody watches that dumb sport. So maybe it does. But if this happened in like the NFL, like if we had a college team or like something, some foreign team come in and like beat the Chiefs, we'd be like, what the hell is going on here? Like, what are they doing? What do they know that we don't know? We're not doing that. I kind of think there's a chance that you could build a team of just minimum salary players. You just get the salary to the minimum and just bring guys overseas just that have been playing together for years. I think you could build a team that could compete because they're together. You sign them all at the same time. They know they're going to be playing together for 5 years and just no egos. They're just here to play and win.
Yeah,
I think it could work. I don't see why not.
I mean, as a Moneyball standpoint, they were going by on base percentage. What would you go by in basketball?
Well, I think it would be more of like a philosophy, not something you could necessarily put on paper, but like
as far as like an analytic thing, like you wouldn't be. You're not talking. You don't mean like as far as like an analytical.
We're gonna practice whatever normal NBA teams do. We're gonna practice, one day more, 2 hours longer each day. We're going to practice fundamentals. Those things you see in like the basketball movies where like nobody shoots until you pass the ball 10 times. That kind of dumb stuff.
Yeah.
It's like high school basketball, small ball stuff. And, maybe I'm stupid. Maybe this is, but I mean, all I know is what I see in the Olympics. It works there. So I get it. Those guys don't play together too much. It's a different game.
Yeah.
But my gosh, it feels like the NBA, the regular NBA, is getting close to that like Olympic style stuff. It just seems like a bunch of individual players not really playing cohesively. It comes down to one or two guys on each team. That's just the way the NBA is now. I mean, like we say in baseball, where it's basically strike out or hit a home run. The NBA, it's, shoot a three or slam dunk. I mean, there's no real fundamental aspect of the game. Like the way Steve Nash used to run a team and Jason Kidd and all that, those days are over.
Yeah.
So I think there's a possibility there to kind of do something like that, but who knows if it'll ever happen? Because like I said, if James Harden came to the Sixers, he would run everything. It's his team.
Yeah.
You couldn't just decide that, here's how the team's going to run, because then if James Harden is upset and wants out, it's all over. And they know that.
See, if the Sixers, if some miracle happened and Tobias Harris was good enough, and it was Embiid, Simmons, and who the fuck are we talking about? James Harden. Yeah. If it was those three guys on the court, easy. We're done.
Well, it should absolutely work. That's the thing. These guys have all the talent in the world.
Because think about it. Ben wouldn't be point guard anymore. Harden would be. Ben doesn't want the ball anyway. He would just pass it around. He's there for defense, whatever, good assists, blah, 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 getting in the paint, whatever. But then Embiid could actually play his position and succeed at it. That's what the Sixers need. That's what the Sixers have been missing, is the ability to actually play the positions that they're supposed to be playing. There should never be a reason, unless it's a drawn-up play, that Embiid should be out there on the three-point line, in my opinion. He's good at it. He's okay, I guess, maybe whatever, above average, I don't know. But to me, it just, why isn't he in the paint? Why isn't he playing the position that he's supposed to play? Ben Simmons doesn't look natural out there because his inability to shoot the ball. So it just becomes a thing where everybody's just kind of doing something maybe that they haven't gotten used to yet, whatever, but it's not playing the position that they're supposed to be playing. And it because one person's doing it, it affects the entire team. And if you add a James Harden into the Sixers scheme the way it is now, to me, it would be a perfect picture. It can't happen. I don't see how it could happen. They would have to get rid of Simmons probably, and that really sucks because
ideally you would have a coach that would bring it all together, but like we said, that doesn't exist in the NBA today. So
yeah, it doesn't.
But
other trade news: the Milwaukee Bucks got Drew Holiday recently. They also got somebody else. I forget the other guy's name. Chris Paul is just got traded to the Suns, and the Lakers got Oklahoma City's Dennis Schroeder. That's just a couple of deals I heard of. Yeah, the Lakers, man, they're stacked up. It's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, I'm excited for the new season, Christmas Day.
Hopefully, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think it will.
We'll see. I'm losing interest by the year with the NBA. It just seems a little. It's always been a little predictable.
Yeah.
And it's just sad to see that the Bucks are making this desperate attempt to hold on to what they have. And
well, I guess it's the same thing as the NBA or the NFL in a sense. Maybe not this year, obviously, because the Patriots aren't the same team as they have been for the past decade plus. But it's kind of like that. There's this team that everybody just kind of has in their mind is the clear-cut pick to win everything, and then it's just kind of a race to see who can match up with them, who can beat them, who can obviously it's a little different in the NBA because the East essentially is just up for grabs. Whoever doesn't really matter because the big hitters are on the West. It's kind of the same thing in baseball a little bit, but like in basketball especially, it's just like all eyes are on the Lakers now. It was the Golden State, and maybe Golden State might make it interesting this season because they get some of their star power back. Who knows? But all eyes are seemingly on the Lakers as a clear cut pick to run it back this year. Obviously, you have like the Clippers that are going to be there. You've got the Suns with Chris Paul. Even though I don't particularly care for Chris Paul, he's going to be good with Devin Booker. In the East, things are lighting.
But it won't matter. Like the Suns aren't winning it.
It won't matter, no. But Portland has been getting a lot better. I like Portland a lot out there. The East, on the other hand, if no matter what, even if the Nets, if they get Harden or not, they still got KD coming back this year. They still got Kyrie coming back this year. That's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see what the Celtics do. I heard something like they're trying to do something with Hayward. They might be getting a package deal ready, trying to get Harden themselves. I'm obviously interested to see what happens with Jimmy Butler and the Heat again this year. I'm interested to see what Doc Rivers can do with the Sixers this year. I think the East is going to be a really interesting thing to watch this season, and that's what I look out for. I know that that the Lakers are favored. I know that beyond that, it's probably Golden State. But for me, it's just like, all right, well, who else can make it up there, and who's going to be that team that's going to surprise everybody, and just keep my fingers crossed that it's the Sixers. We'll see. What if Ben Simmons just comes out just dropping
NBA talk?
Oh, geez.
Well, it's not even the NBA season.
I know. Well, we got a couple minutes left. We only got a couple minutes left. You want to talk about some NFL? I want to talk
about one thing.
Do it.
I would be remiss. I made a few notes. So let me check. I think I can get both these points in real quick. So, all right, real quick, because I can't do a podcast without being an asshole. So let me just be an asshole real quick. Kim Ng, the hire for the GM, she's the new, she's the first female general manager that's ever been hired for the Marlins. First female and first Asian American, which is kind of crazy because and actually, I'm not even sure if she's Asian American. Maybe she's just Asian born. Not sure. Got to do my research there. But anyway, that's very surprising because, baseball is huge in Japan specifically. Actually, fun little fact, former Philly lefty O'Doul way back in the day, over 60 or so years ago, helped bring baseball to Japan, and it just flourished. Forget about that. Anyway, this specific hire, all I want to say is, it's going to make me sound like an asshole. I saw this meme thing where it shows a little girl. I think it was put out there by Major League Baseball. It's like a little girl sitting on a bed. And it's funny because all the pennants on the wall, they can't show a favoritism to a team. So it's like National League, American League, baseball team. I don't think those are the pennants on her wall. But anyway, she's sitting there watching as, Kim Ng is breaking news, first female GM. And she's watching it. And it's like, this little girl has goals, and it's like, what little girl is that? What 6-year-old little girl is sitting in her room saying, I want to be the general manager of a baseball team? Really? What? I don't care if it's a little girl or a little boy. That is the nerdiest dream of all time. That is crazy. There's no.
Hey man, I don't think they make it anymore. But I know for a fact they don't. But remember, it was a few years ago. They had the Madden game, but then they also had the Madden head coach game. So there is some sort of an appeal to the strategic thing about it. But
terrible seller.
Yeah, where's the head coach game now?
Yeah, exactly. off the shelves.
Here's the thing, and I'm all for the hire. It makes total sense.
Yeah,
first of all, the Asian American
I get what you're
aspect
saying.
of it,
yeah,
they're killing white people anyway. I mean, they're doing way better than us, like just across the board. So like I'm just shocked that there hasn't been one yet. It's insane to me,
right?
Because it's so popular in Asia. But as for everything else, it makes perfect sense. I mean, especially for baseball. I don't know why. It just seems like baseball that's like a perfect fit for a female. But I mean, let me know when it's like a head coach for baseball. I mean, when it's a front office, it's just nerdy. It's just, I mean, all it is, you're just trading like human baseball cards.
Right.
It's like a high stakes Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, that's the nerd job. I mean, the former Phillies GM, Ed Wade, this guy was like 5'3", 89 pounds soaking wet, these big Coke bottle glasses, like the nerdiest guy of all time, and he's the GM of a baseball team. It's just, I don't know. And,
it's not sexy. It's not like the sexy job at the, you know what I mean, at the baseball park.
And I just don't like the meme because it's like if there does exist a 6-year-old kid that's like, oh man, maybe I can be the GM of a baseball team. First of all, they only give those jobs to like Harvard grads. You got to be super smart.
Yeah.
If you're smart, then you have options. You could be a doctor. And if you're smart, you're playing the odds. And there's only 30 of those GM jobs out there. If you're a super smart 6-year-old kid, you're like, lawyers pay pretty well, or get paid pretty well. So, there's just better options out there.
Right.
I'm saying congratulations to her. I just don't love how we turn everything into like this crazy, amazing accomplishment. It's just, I think we should stop doing that. Because it's where we are. I think the CEO of I think Ford is a female. There's female CEOs all over the place. The most badass bosses I've ever had in my entire life were female. I was scared to death of them. They could be absolute killers. It's the normal now. So I think we kind of make ourselves feel bad by like, oh man, how could it have not happened till now? Forget it. She's just as qualified as anybody else. Just treat her like everybody else.
Well, I think
that's my spin on it.
I think as a first anything, that's a positive thing anyway.
Yeah. Put it out there. But
that should be
overdone
celebrated.
Like meme stuff is like, okay.
Yeah, I can dig that, but I'm still going to give her a little round of applause.
Yeah, I mean it's so awesome.
Yeah.
And just really quick, my last point on this rant, totally off topic. Carson Wentz. He goes from having a QB rating last year of, I think, 100 point whatever, to now he's got like a 70.7, something just absolutely awful in today's NFL. And all I can say, we were talking about this, me and Ryan Spader, it's like Steve Sachs back in the 80s in Major League Baseball, when he just, a second baseman, him and Chuck Knobloch, they just forgot how to throw the ball to first base. They got so up in their head that when the time came to make that throw, they couldn't do it. They'd overthrow it, they'd underthrow it, and there was nothing they could do to get it right, to fix their head. And I think Carson Wentz is kind of in that space right now, where he knows everything is riding on this, and you can see it and feel it on every throw. And that's a dangerous place to be, because it's hard to fix someone's head.
Yeah.
So that's where I think we're at with that. And that's why I wouldn't mind. I'm a Carson Wentz guy, but once I started to see these throws, I was sticking with him up until last week, still seeing these high throws, these awful throws. Now I'm off the bandwagon, because that's not something you can just fix with momentum, I don't think. You can't fix that with more talent at wide receiver or a better offensive line. If you're just missing wide open throws, that's a little scary. So maybe now's the time to just say, all right, take a seat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Like, we've talked about it a couple episodes here this season, where it's just like, obviously they can still win the division, and that's the goal now. But it's like, I don't fucking care anymore. Like, I just see a team that is in shambles in almost every sense of the word. And listening to Doug Peterson this week on the radio in the morning or whatever, I forget, it was on Monday morning or whatever, with Angelo. And I'm just like, I don't even fucking like this guy anymore. Like, I don't like. At least Andy Reid frustrated me because it's just like, yeah, we got to do a better job. We got to do a better job. Yeah, it's my responsibility. We got to do a better job. But this guy, like Doug, just, I get you won a Super Bowl, dude, but otherwise you haven't done shit. And the audacity of him to like cop an attitude with reporters the way he does when his play calling is so abysmal and uncreative, and it just, I can't fucking stand watching it. Like, I'm watching the Eagles-Giants game, which is supposed to be this exciting rivalry game, and obviously both teams are just total dumpster fires. And I'm watching the Giants just totally outperform the Eagles on just about every drive, just about every possession. Their offense, even without their star player, is at least clicking. And I feel it was the same thing with the Cowboys. The Eagles' defense made the Cowboys' offense, which has been horrible all year, look great. Their defense is historically bad, and our offense couldn't do shit against them. And to me, it's just like because the division is so trash. I get the reason why we would want them to continue to compete and to, maybe they can do it. Maybe they can get hot at the right time. But, dude, there's no way. There's no way. Like, dude, the Eagles might not win a game for the next 4 weeks. I don't even know what their schedule is in order. But, like, I saw the next 5 games, and I'm like, lost. Like, I don't see how they can win. I just don't see it.
It's a tough stretch. They have the Browns, the Cardinals. Sheesh. I think the Saints might be in there.
Yep.
They, of course, have the Cowboys and Redskins still. It's a tough stretch. The Packers, I believe.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's rough. But my final point is on the creativity part, I tend to be an Eagles apologist. So I'll say on that part, to defend Peterson, one of the big criticisms, like you said, lack of creativity on the offense. I would say in defense of him, they maybe don't need to be so creative, or they aren't planning on having to be creative. Because what if they just went into that game plan with the Giants and just said, like, let's just run this straight, make your throws, and we're good. Like, we've seen a lot of creativity from the Cowboys the last 3 or 4 weeks because they don't have a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So they need to be creative. I'm not sure the Eagles are going into these games saying we need to be creative. They need Carson Wentz to play how he's capable of playing.
Right.
So I think that's part of it. We see kind of a bland offense that's not working, but I think it works if Carson Wentz is doing his job.
Yeah.
So I think now maybe you'll see a shift, but every prediction I seem to make is wrong. So I think now is when you would see that creativity, because now maybe finally they've lost faith in Carson Wentz.
Well, to me, it's just like, all right, you're obviously playing with a makeshift offense. A lot of injuries. You don't have any of your star wide receivers. You don't have any of the wide receivers that you were hoping to get a look at with the newest guy they picked up in the draft. I forget his name. Rager.
Jalen Rager.
Yeah. So, like, I get all that. And your tight ends are hurt. Your offensive line is Swiss cheese. I get all that. That's all the more reason, in my opinion, just as an observer, that you would want to get more creative. Like, all right, if I had a star receiver like Alshon Jeffrey out there who's healthy, or Deshaun Jackson, I could play these bum-ass plays where it's just a regular-ass play to everybody else, and these guys have the talent to go out there and make this shit happen. Whereas we're playing with practice squad guys. You saw it the year that they won the Super Bowl. They had a play calling scheme that worked to the strengths of the players that were out on the field, not the players that they were missing. And I feel like that's what's happening right now. I'm looking at a here we go game plan that's just like, all right, we've just got here's a play. Just try this. Just try this. It's not what personnel do I have on the field? What fade route can this no-name receiver accomplish? What target should we execute this drive? Blah, 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 blah. There's nothing. I just feel like it's just dull. I don't see any excitement. the year that it was that they won the Super Bowl, it was that next man up thing. It was all in the news. It was everywhere. Underdog. And right now it's just, yeah, they suck. Yeah.
But we're still in first place, baby. Yeah. Let's go.
Let's do go to the week and get out of here.
Might Be Sports presents the greatest of all time.
Of the week. Clear Cut, go to the week, sponsored by Eunomia CBD. Go to eunomiacbd.com. Use promo code MBN, 20% off, free shipping and free shit. Clear Cut, go to the week. It's easy peasy, baby. Drew Brees. My man has like 5 fractured ribs, a collapsed lung, and he still went out there and threw a touchdown before the half. Drew Brees. Clear Cut, go to the week. I've always loved Drew Brees, his toughness. And I think that New Orleans is pretty good right now. He's going to miss some time. They got Jameis Winston. They got that other guy. I always forget his name. He plays like 4 different positions on their offense. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I like the Saints right now. I've been enjoying kind of following what they're doing because I don't fuck with really anybody else in the NFC. But Drew Brees, I mean, that's the epitome of toughness right there. Go out there, you get sandwiched. Like it was a big hit. It wasn't like malicious or anything like that. He just kind of fell on him with all of his body weight, this big dude, big dude. And went out there, threw a touchdown to end the half. He couldn't come back out in the second half. But Drew Brees, go to the week for me.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the Masters. Tiger Woods and Bryson DeChambeau shit the bed, and I'm just not going to get into it because I'm a little bitter about how that ended up. I don't like it. Tiger at a 10 strokes on a par 3. Brutal. But
wow.
Let's just clear the air a little bit, and I'll call my go to the week, Kim Ng, the new general manager of the Miami Marlins.
It's very good.
Because, hey, I'm not shitting on her.
You're shitting on the cartoon, and I know what you're saying because the cartoon sounded corny.
On the meme and how everybody jumps on to the, hey, if I just share this, I'm going to look like a good person. We're all shitty.
We're all shitty people. Kevin Reevy, great job this week, man. Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you.
We lost CJ, but thank you, CJ. We'll see him next time, too. Hey, everybody, go to mbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier for you to find your new favorite podcast. Check out the playlist. It's incredible stuff. Get a new hoodie. And, check it all out. eunomiacbd.com. Use promo code MBN. Get 20% off, free shipping and free shit. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out, Reevy. Peace, guys. We'll see ya.